What is up, everybody? Welcome to From the Forum, our fantasy football advice network question and answer show. We are live. We are here. I got a crew of unbelievable and one more popping in. There he is.
Yeah.
AC in the house.
What's up?
We have a killer show lined up for you tonight. Lots of questions. Make sure you're popping your questions into the chat. But this is fantasyfootballadvice.com from the forum show. Make sure you check out the site, and we're going to get this going. I need to figure out. My name is not Corey.
Yep. Are you sure?
Not Corey. I'm not Corey, guys. We got people popping in already. What's up, Jerry? Thanks for tuning in.
What's up, Jerry?
What's up, Jerry?
Albert, sup, fellas? Albert's always coming in. And guys, not only do we have the chat heating up, but I got a killer cast and crew tonight. Over to let's see if you're watching this, my right, maybe beside me over there in the blue, I got Seth Woolcock, the what would be the owner, operator, grand mastermind behind IBT Media, and go ahead.
Quite the title. I go by founder, editor in chief, but you can call me El Jefe. You can call me whatever you want, buddy. Happy to be here though. Friday is heating up, man. I'm feeling good heading into a weekend. And how could you not after such an electric fucking game on Thursday? So vibes are certainly high heading into the weekend, and glad to be on with Evan again and JC and you as well, Tyler.
Yeah, appreciate that. Down below, Seth, we got sports affiliations own card collector, Batman extraordinaire, JC Money Design. What's up, JC?
What's up, everybody? Just here hanging out, man. It's been a fun time, and damn, it was fun watching that game. Like we usually do the breaks, in the second half because these primetime games have been so bad. Where you're like, oh my god, they can't stop scoring. 85 points between both teams. Like, come on now, that's like a lot. Like, that's too much. What are we watching? College ball here? Love it.
I know.
Man, Seahawks are looking good, man. Seahawks are looking good. DK looked great. Finally staying in bounds. Like, last primetime game? We're like, what are you doing? Stop going out of bounds and you're catching the ball. No, man. Oh, it was just so fun to watch them. Sharp got involved. It's still not, Kenneth Walker. I feel like when Kenneth Walker is back, this team should be electric. I think they should be clicking. I think this team's ready to go, man.
Yeah. And then right beside JC, last but definitely not least, cap on backwards, repping the hoodie, my props king himself, SoCal ball nerd. What's up, Evan?
What is going on, man? Yeah, Thursday night football was great. I don't know if Seattle's quite arrived. I feel like Dallas might have just taken 3.5 quarters off on defense, but it was fun to watch. I don't know sign language, and I don't mean this offensive, but I'm standing on business or whatever DK, signed after his touchdown. I'm all about standing on business tonight, handling some fantasy news. Man, props king. Jalen Suggs right now is on my bad list, bro. This dude was at the free throw line, points, rebounds, assists, over 21.5, sitting at 20, misses 1 or 2, bro, and dies on the hook. How about to send Jalen Suggs a nice love letter? But
that frisky magic, man. You can't trust those frisky magic players.
Yeah, so a couple other good ones though, but that one was rough. And RJ Barrett shooting up some bricks up the northern border in Toronto, going 6 for 18, falling 2 points short. But plenty of other wins, man. So still a pretty good night, and we're talking fantasy football, man. So let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you watched the Thursday night game, anybody in fantasy, unless you played Dallas or Seattle defenses, you were living it up. Everybody was relevant. Pollard got in the end zone. Cooks got in the zone. Lamb got in the end zone. DK got in the end zone 3 times. It was a killer game. And, I went through and I realized because, I set my lineups. I don't really pay attention to the teams that I'm playing because whoever I'm playing, it's going to be them, right? So I happened to go through today, and I was looking, and I was like, dude, like over half of the people that I'm playing this week have DK in their lineup. And I was luckily most of my leagues I got CD, so that was at least able to kind of mute itself. But I was like, dang it, on the week for them to have DK, like here we go. Anyway, so tonight, man, we're gonna get hot and heavy. Looks like we already got some questions popping in the chat. Again, this is our From the Forum show, sponsored by fantasyfootballadvice.com. That is our site where you can go in, you can ask all these questions. All these guys are in there throwing out answers all the time. But if you're in, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and light up this chat tonight. I got a crew. They're ready. They're studied. And we're going to help you. We're going to help you pull out that week 13 win. So, Josh hitting us in first. Would you trade Lamar, Wicks, and Flacco for Hurts and Noah Gray? 20-team PPR, and there's the roster.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think even if you just look at, Wicks, Flacco, and Gray, throw them out. Lamar for Hurts. Like, Hurts just can't not get 2 touchdowns a week at least, and he might start throwing the ball a little better. I don't know. I think you want Hurts over Lamar.
Hurts already has 11 rushing touchdowns on the year. He's not going to stop. I mean, he has more rushing touchdowns than their running backs probably combined. So, I mean, I wouldn't not want him on my team. I mean, Wicks is just like, he'll get a game here and there, probably. Noah Gray, probably not relevant. Flacco, I mean, if this is super flex.
It's a 20-teamer, though. 20-teamer. I feel like even Wicks, like you might be throwing out Wicks in a flex occasionally, like on a bye week like this, maybe.
Do you like?
I don't know, not anymore with Christian Watson's back, and he's gotten way more involved now. I think that Wicks is kind of in the back burner now.
I think Dortch is coming on strong over there in Arizona. Him and Murray seem to have a connection. I mean, last year Dortch played well when called upon. So, I mean, if you're not playing Wicks with those bench assets, you're playing, Dortch.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm not a big JMO guy. I don't like that boomer bust. Obviously, you could play him in a matchup, but I think if you're playing Dortch over Wicks and Hurts over Lamar, I never take my chances.
Hurts is doing better as a rushing, touchdown quarterback. Hurts has way more weapons on offense. I mean, it's Hurts over Lamar. That should just
and Lamar's on bye this week too, and it looks like Josh needs a win probably. So he's playing the number 1 seed. Like, get him locked and loaded this week. And Tyler, the other question he's asking there about Dortch and Wicks, like I think just based off what these guys are saying, they're probably more on the Dortch side, and I'm definitely on the Dortch side as well. Like, I'm not talking up Wicks at all. Like, don't get me wrong, guys. I don't like Wicks, but I'm just saying, like, in a 20-team PPR league, like I'm sure you're going deep as hell.
Yeah. For me, it's interesting that like the actual like what just came out of JC's mouth, like Hurts has been more effective running the ball than Lamar. That is twisted, wild, crazy, not the expectation. But I do agree. I mean, I want Hurts over Lamar. Wicks is with that full receiving core is a non-factor. Dortch coming on, Hollywood banged up. Obviously, I'm with everything that you guys are saying.
No Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I feel like he's not even really giving up. Like Wicks and Flacco, really. I mean, like we call us like what's Flacco going to be this? Like, what's he really going to do for you in a 1 quarterback league? Like, I feel like this was one of those moments where you like found 2 cut players and you needed a roster space. So you're like, let me just throw these in there and they bit. You know what I mean? Noah Gray is also a non-factor to me. As long as Kelsey's on the field, he's absent. If Kelsey gets hurt, he's got value. But
I don't know why the Lamar owner would want to do this. This is a terrible deal for him. But good on you, Josh. Like, get this done, bro. Like, smash hit this.
Yeah,
I agree. Terrible decision. I mean, the Ravens at the 1, they're going to hand the ball off. The Eagles are going to rush it with Hurts. And the Ravens are about like, we'll get it done however we can each week. So if they can run the ball 40 times, they will. Like, it just, the opportunity's not there. But speaking of this guy's roster in a 20 team, he's got DJ, Kirk, Kelsey, Mostert. Like, yeah, they might have been your first 5 or 6 picks, but talk about nailing like 5 or 6 rounds of a 20-team draft.
Yes.
Yeah, get Hurts, my man. Get Hurts, Josh. Smash that thing before dude wakes up.
Yes.
Smash. So yeah, that's always like, you have those traits. Like, you ever like think about them, like they're close enough, you think about them too long, and then the person gets cold feet. And I'm bad about it. I'll send a trade, and then like I think about it for 10 minutes. I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do that, and I retract it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really bad about it. But like this is sometimes you don't want to sit on the offer too long. It's there. Get Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
I love it. Got Ryan popping in. What's up, Ryan? Thanks for tuning into the show. Make sure you ask your questions, tag people, get them in the show. We want to get to everybody tonight. So, part of this show, we're answering questions live on air, from the chat. And then on the other side, we're flipping over to the Fantasy Football Advice Network. That's fantasyfootballadvice.com, where our users, people like you who can join for free, hop on there and ask their questions as well. And we've got some good ones on there. So we're going to go over to our first question on the Fantasy Football Advice Network today. And I don't want to show that. Let me go over there.
Just kind of responding to Josh in the comments too, man. Like, congratulations. Like, crack a beer. Enjoy your weekend with that. Like, that is a weekend starter. Talk about a pregame to week fucking 13, man. That's
the league winner.
Not to mention, like you said, Seth, you get him this week where you'd be playing somebody else over Lamar. Like, that value can't be missed. Like, that value can't be overlooked. You're basically probably winning a game instead of losing a game by making that
He'd be playing Flacco is who he'd be playing.
Ooh, I'm going to see Flacco. I'm going to the Rams-Browns game. I'm going to get to see Flacco live.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. I hope it's good. I hope somehow he surprises us and it's fun. So we're going to go to this next question by AML Sports. Half-point PPR, tight end help, rest of season is the key. Schultz, Freiermuth, or Kincaid? What do you think, Seth? I know we kind of touched on this last night, so give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily close. It's definitely Kincaid. He's a little bit above these guys, almost like a whole tier above. We know Schultz banged up, not going to be active this week, so kind of a bummer there. And while Freiermuth is my guy, I got the jersey hanging in the closet right now, Penn State guy as well. There's a lot of mouths to feed in Pittsburgh, a lot of mouths to feed in Pittsburgh. They got to get Najee and Warren going this week. I think we'll see that against the Cardinals. And then George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, they got to eat. So Kincaid's kind of becoming one of the top reads in Buffalo there. So give me Kincaid. You don't like it, JC?
I mean, I love Kincaid, but the Bills are on the downfall right now. Like, they're just on a downward spiral. I feel like Pittsburgh's kind of like on the uptick with Canada kicked out, like all of a sudden they like got their juice back. What does Freiermuth have? 11 targets, 9 catches? Like, man, this guy's like, he is back. Oh, I feel like he's
Kincaid's been doing it though, bro. Kincaid's just been so damn consistent. Like,
I get that, but guess what? Deontay Johnson he doesn't even care what's happening on the field. He's just gonna walk around like, I'm telling you, man. Number 2 target. I mean, Pickens is gonna get some, but I feel like the Muth has just showed up and he's just like, Pickett now is just like, all right, well, I got somebody who's just like is here to play football. He's like, I'm just gonna throw him the ball, and I mean, 11 targets for a tight end. That's a lot. That's Kelsey numbers. I like that. I like Kincaid, but the Moose, man, he's back.
So yeah, man, this is tough because, like Seth said, I mean, Kincaid's been the guy, right? I mean, even last week, I mean, I don't know what happened in the second half. 5 catches for I think 38 in the first. Didn't have a single catch the rest of the game, in a good matchup against an Eagles defense that's not very good against tight ends. The Muth, yes, I am a Muth guy as well. I have been since day one. I took him everywhere. That was tough. Luckily, tight ends aren't very good, so it's, you stream who you can. But it's like a tale of like the Muth is back. He looks healthy. Pittsburgh's starting to click, but they haven't been able to capitalize in the red zone, where Kincaid is like a red zone beast. But Buffalo has their moments too. I feel like the safe play is Kincaid. I think if you want to take some risk and try to get reward, which, no risk, no reward, Freiermuth, I believe, has a little bit better schedule overall, including the fantasy playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have it right in front of me. That's just based off of, looking at it each week and how that goes. And the Steelers can run the football, and they're getting Minka back on defense. I think they like the play action. Muth is Pickett's guy. Yes, they won't get the Bengals 30th ranked defense against tight ends every week. I wouldn't be mad at you going here, Kincaid, at all, but I just think that Freiermuth is going to end up surprising a lot of people. I think I'm going to take the risk and go Freiermuth.
Yeah.
Interesting. Kincaid has been a smash for me on the props every time. He's hitting 4.5, 5 receptions. He's getting the targets. Josh Allen likes getting on the ball in the red zone. He looks for them. Often Kincaid is his first read. That offense has really ran through Kincaid a lot, especially for first downs. I don't know if you have any bonuses for first downs, but that floor, Kincaid's floor is top. It's strong. And so if I'm looking for consistency, I want Kincaid. I agree. I said last week when everybody told me I was stupid to start Muth this week, and he put up 120 yards. Pickett likes going to Freiermuth. It's crazy. He's got Pickens. He's got running backs. He's got Deontay Johnson, but he likes throwing to Freiermuth. So I think both of those are high upside. I didn't think about it as much on the schedule. I like Kincaid better as the talent. I like Moose's schedule.
So let me ask you this. Nice. Let me ask this real quick. I just want to throw the matchups in there, okay? Kincaid in 15, 16, 17 has the Cowboys, the Chargers, which is great, and then he has the Patriots. The Muth gets the Colts, the Bengals again, and the Seahawks.
I want that.
Does that change anything for either of you guys at all?
A little bit, but even the Seahawks have been they've been pretty good against tight ends before last week or before this week. So
they've only allowed one touchdown to tight ends, and I think
Colts, Bengals. Cowboys, Patriots. That's a tough slate for tight ends. Allen struggled against the Patriots. We've talked about that before. I'm just trying to see if I can sway one of you guys because we're kind of 2-2,
Yeah.
We might just have, I can tell you this. I'm close enough that not that I'll be swayed, but it's close enough. I could say you could go with I'm good. This is a good split. Sometimes it's good because you get that different, establishment of how you play. If you're a floor, if you want to make sure that your tight end spot has 10 to 20 points, you're playing Kincaid, and you still have the ceiling with Kincaid. With Freiermuth, you're really just hoping for that big game because granted, it was just his first.
I don't know if it's that either, though. I had Freiermuth finishing as a tight end 5 this year before all the injury and all that stuff happening.
I was high on him, man. He was my
he had a lot of targets last year.
I think his floor is there too, right? Why doesn't Freiermuth have the same floor right now? He looks healthy.
He does.
I just don't think he does because I don't trust the up and down nature of the Steelers offense. And I know everybody is excited. Everybody's excited because they just freaking got out of the, kicked Matt Canada out of the building. Yep. And so we're all excited. Freaking Warren went off. Najee went for 99 yards and a tutty. Freiermuth 120 yards. We saw offense from the Steelers this week. And so, everybody's excited. But here's the thing. I'm not getting carried away because Pickett is still Pickett. And that offensive line is still the offensive line. You know what I mean? So, if we're real about it, Muth is just as possible of having a 5 or 8 point game as he is the 20-point game.
That's a good floor. That's a good floor. I'm good with if my floor is 7, 8 points with a tight end. Kincaid. What's Kincaid's floor? Probably 4.
How many games has Kincaid had under 10, Seth? Do you know? Do you have it
So,
pulled up?
yes. So in the since week 7, since Dawson Knox went down with that injury, Kincaid has been excellent, guys. Like, it's insane.
Yeah,
He's had
he's
one game
great.
below double-digit PPR
Okay.
points, and that was last week, or week 12, excuse me, last time he played, 8.8. So he's been kind of in that 10 to 15
That's
range
good. That's
most
good for
weeks. So yeah. So that's kind of why I think I would go Kincaid. But I'll tell you what, this week, if you need someone this week, it's Freiermuth. He's playing the Cardinals. They've allowed 5 touchdowns in the last 5 games to tight ends. So everyone on the Steelers is gonna have a good day, man.
That's what's tough. That Kincaid's had that proof in the pudding. Freiermuth's been hurt, right? Like, that's the one thing I meant from the beginning is, like, it's so hard to go away from Kincaid because he's shown it to you. So it's like going away from that trustworthy goodness to try something else. It's a little scary. But I think, like Tyler said, you can be rewarded for it. But I think we said this a few times last week. Like, I don't think you're going to be too disappointed. And I don't see this probably making or break a win or a loss with these two guys either. It's probably somewhere else in your lineup, if you don't win a playoff game. But don't quote me on that and then lose by a point. But
well, that's part of it though. You go with your gut, you go with what you feel. I think those are both pretty strong. So we're going to pop over into the next question in the chat. Jerry is setting us up. He's like, let me give you the ugliest question of the night. And I saw it and I was like, oh man, what's it going to be? It's going to be a doozy. Are we going to be arguing? Am I starting Kincaid or Freiermuth this week? What's it going to be? And here we go. Super flex. Should I start as my second quarterback, Boyle or Flacco?
Are there negative points? Can you go negative? Is there an opportunity here where you don't start a quarterback just because of that factor? Like, especially so in fantasy football sevens, Iggy, the one that Iggy runs, like there's an opportunity where your quarterback could potentially have like negative, 20 points because of how bad they did, like, so if there's a negative factor, there's a potential here where you just don't even start a quarterback. I mean, Flacco hasn't played for a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Like, I mean, it was
early last season for the Jets. Yeah.
But I mean, he did have Garrett Wilson.
I mean, it's a valid point, JC. Often when we're in Superflex leagues, the feel is we have to go quarterback. Like, it's Superflex. You got to throw a quarterback in.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, would you rather start one of these guys or would you rather have Freiermuth in your flex going for 20 points, 120 yards? You know what I mean? Like, that's a good, valid point. And, something Jerry should think about. I don't know what his roster looks, but if you have somebody with high upside that you're benching,
or
maybe
even upside. I don't even have to say it high upside. I mean, I don't think like Flacco and Boyle, neither one of them have even have upside. They just have potential to get points. Like Flacco maybe can get you 10. Boyle probably can get you 10. I mean, there's not.
So let's.
Is there somebody out there that can get you more than 10 points? I mean, that's what you look at.
Let's go to the I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Couples Retreat when they're in counseling and he pulls out his hypothetical gun. So Seth, you have a hypothetical gun to your head and you have to start Boyle or Flacco. Who are you taking this week?
I am taking big time Timmy Jim Boyle, man. Like, look, I get Tim Boyle's not everyone's favorite quarterback this week, and that's all fine and dandy. The Falcons, though, they've actually been a top 6 matchup for the position over the last month, which is really what I'm looking at as far as, like, I care about season long, but more than anything, I'm caring about the matchups. What have you done for me lately over the last 2 weeks, over the last month? And Tim Boyle last week, man, 71% completion rate. Like, it wasn't that bad. And if he's going to continue to lean on his 2 studs, Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, like one of them are going to break a play. So I just don't see that upside for the Browns. Like, I don't see Amari's not 100% healthy. I just don't see the big playability. So I think I'd have to go Boyle here. Honestly, like I'm talking myself more and more into give me some Tim Boyle, baby.
Man, you're brave, bro. Like, I mean, hey, I'm always saying go with your gut, right? But like I'm sitting here and I'm like looking at it and like Boyle last week, or even like the 2 weeks. So he had a 33% snap share against Buffalo, -1 point. at least in PPR scoring in this league that I'm looking at. Then you got last week 100% snap share. You're right. He goes 38 attempts, 27 completions, but he throws 2 picks. He fumbles twice.
All right with that.
Against Miami, and
Still
he ends
scored
up with
7
negative
points
again.
Boyle McBoyle. It's Boyle McBoyle.
Like, I mean, let me ask you this, Evan. Do you believe in Flacco enough after a year and a half that you're going to risk it? Or do you think Boyle, like some players, it takes a minute to get in the groove, right? Like we saw him start to click towards the end of that game. Like maybe it's taken, whatever Seth called him, Big Daddy Boyle, whatever,
No.
Maybe
big time Timmy Jim, baby.
Big time Timmy Jim.
Maybe it takes him a minute. I mean, are you Boyle or Flacco this week?
I might be the gun to the head. I don't know. This might be the one that takes me out here. Billy, I think the last part of what you said, like, do I trust Flacco enough to not go Boyle? Like, here's both these games, man. Like the Browns are going to run, and the Rams are going to run, and the Falcons are going to run. Like, how much opportunity for either of these guys to really throw the football is there going to be there? Although Boyle did look better last week. I mean, he had the pick that was a Hail Mary at the end of that one I wouldn't really count against him. And I think the key, and Seth kind of touched on this, is, the game plan. If he throws the ball to Hall 8-9 times, Conklin is a great X factor in this game against a Falcons defense that's not good against tight end. And Garrett Wilson's matchup proof if you throw him the ball 12 times, like every number one. We see that. I don't care who's the quarterback, who the defense. If you feed your beast, you're going to get some production. I don't know who you have in Cleveland that really is going to do that. And I just think the Browns are fine with mucking it up a little bit more. So Flacco might take some deeper shots down the field just because I think he can come out and throw it in the backyard any given day and just chuck it. But who's he going to throw it to? Elijah Moore? I mean, I don't know. I don't like it at all. And I think I'm just going to go Boyle because he's starting to get comfortable and he's there. And Flacco he's getting thrown in. And I just think that Boyle's got a little bit more help around him. So I think I got to go big time Timmy Jam too, man.
Great question. I need more questions with Tim Boyle as the correct answer in my life.
Let me get into this action.
There's nobody besides Kelly.
Nobody but Kelly.
Give me Juju Smith-Schuster.
It's going to be Joe Falco. Shane Falco, the replacements. Pain heals, chicks to scars, glory lasts forever. He's going to get one last chance to go out there and sling the ball. Like, even if he fails, he's going to be throwing it. Mari Cooper, come on. Let's go.
So got another question here. Who do you like this week, Nico or Ayuk?
That's tough. So Ayuk actually gets the Eagles, who are the worst against, wide receivers. I do like that. And Greg Kellogg actually had him as his force player this week and for a wide receiver. Nico could be up there. Is Noah Brown coming back this week? Do we know or not? I think Nico's the 2.
Yeah,
Ayuk does get a great matchup.
Yeah, I'm not overly. Texans roll out Dalton Schultz, Noah Brown, Tank Dell, both questionable. So he was at practice a couple days this week. So I'm expecting Noah Brown to probably be out there.
What was Tank Dell's practice today? Because that calf, that's no joke with the calf he's dealing with too.
Man, if Noah's out and Dell's out, I don't know if Nico's the play. And that makes me weary of CJ.
Tank Dell did say he was going to play. He told reporters he was going to play. So
okay.
I think regardless, so like we can't ever think about sending Brandon Ayuk, right, guys? Like he's basically a wide receiver 1, what he's done this season, and he has the best matchup on the slate against the Eagles. This is going to be a high-scoring affair. The books know it. We know it. Like our grandmothers know it. So I'm all in on Ayuk. Like I want to get Nico into my lineup too, man. Like I don't know how you can sit Nico at this point too, but if I'm sitting one, it is Nico.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it helps that Nico, I mean, he is playing the Broncos too, who you can run on the Broncos. And I'm not saying that Dameon Pierce is a start this week, but I am saying that I expect Houston to run the ball a lot with Pierce and Singletary. Whether they run it effectively, I just think they're going to run the ball a lot. I think it's the kind of game where, if Nico outscores Ayuk, it's going to be because he has 4 catches and one of them or 2 of them are for touchdowns. Yep. And Ayuk's 6 for 50 and doesn't find the end zone, but easily has the better game. We watched this Buffalo Eagles game. What was it? 34-31 in the rain. Shouldn't we see the same kind of thing with 2 pass defenses and all the weapons? The Niners can't stop receivers either. AJ and Devontae should have a field day. So, I mean, Debo, Kittle, Ayuk, Brown, Devontae, they got to be in your lineup. I don't know how many better options you could have. I think I can't have Ayuk go off on my bench. If Nico does, then so be it.
Yeah, Kittle's one of my. I don't do the force or farce, but to compare it with what JC, Kittle's one of my strong plays this week. Philly is rough against the tight end, bottom of the league, and
any receiver, anybody who catches the ball, they're bad against.
But and Purdy likes to look. He likes to look Kittle's way. I don't think it's a big game this week for CMC. I think he's probably CMC's floor, which is still pretty strong. But I think Kittle could have a huge game this week. And so I'm looking forward to that. Great question, Facebook user. Millie Mills asking, Higgins, McLaurin, D-Hop, or Deontay this week?
Deontay. Not Deontay.
Not Deontay.
I like Higgins, man. T coming back, he's probably going to be – I mean, it's still, he's not yet a great quarterback throwing to him, but –
well, and let's be real. Everybody's scarred. T. Higgins scarred everybody with it was last year, I'm coming back, and everybody's like, yeah, put him in the starting lineup, and then one snap in, he's out of the game for the rest of the game. And I don't know, I was watching that game. I had T. Higgins on my roster, and I'm just like, you know what? I hate fantasy football. This is stupid, and so everybody, I think that lingers in everybody's mind, and it's enough for me not to risk.
Warren's been a dud the last couple of weeks. I mean, D-Hop. I mean,
but they got to. That's
done anything. I mean, Higgins has got to come back too, right? I mean, right? Everyone's got to kind of come back. Deontay just is a no for me, but
But here's the thing, and I'm sure you can let me know what you think. Said I think that Miami and Washington could be a, what do you call it, JC? A bonanza game. It could absolutely be a bonanza game. Sure. Obviously, Washington's going to play from behind in that game. They don't have the defense to stop anybody, much less, Tyreek and Waddle. So they're going to have to throw it. And just based on that, I mean, is McLaurin a must start?
Curtis Samuel is.
So here's how I kind of get a read on this situation. I think all the Washington wide receivers are pretty good starts this week, other than Jahan Dotson. He's probably going to see the most Jalen Ramsey shadowing in this game, so I'm trying to get away from that. But outside of that, this is the highest over-under on the slate, so you want to attack it with your wide receivers, whether you're playing DFS, prop betting, or in your fantasy lineup. So I'm there with that. I can't get behind D-Hop this week. The Colts have been pretty good against wide receivers, but he's going to be matched up against Jalen Jones, who's actually been one of the better corners over the last month in the game. So I don't like D-Hop. If you have to choose one of them, and it's not McLaurin, and I think it is McLaurin here, it's the safest, Tyler. Deontay Johnson, he's going to be seeing a lot of Starling Thomas here. Starling Thomas the 5th, actually. And that guy is just cheeks, man. He has not been good at all. Allowing the 5th most fantasy points per route run against him. So Deontay Johnson, I think, is going to eat, but this could be a game Pittsburgh gets out to a lead and just milks it with the back. So McLaurin, Deontay, D-Hop, Higgins in that order. You can't trust Higgins. No hypothetical gun would make me do that.
I'm taking the gun on Higgins. Give me the Higgins gun.
Would you really play?
I'm not taking the gun on Higgins, dude. I can't do it.
I'm not taking the gun on Deontay, man. He's just, if you see him walking the other day.
Yeah, I'm right there with I got the same rankings on it that you have, Seth, for all the same reasons. And the reason I don't go with Deontay is The Cardinals are I think they're the third most or second most rush attempts per game. The Steelers like to run the football. They're running the ball 30 times, even if it's a close game. They might run it closer to 40 if they're ahead, and they're going to run it well. Every good matchup Najee has had, he's been effective, and he's going to be very effective in this game again. And they're just not going to have to throw. So he gets a touchdown, cool. D-Hop, if I'm Tennessee, it's 30 carries to Derrick Henry again. It's his time of season. It's getting cold. It's just Indy's run defense isn't great. I'm feeding Henry, and it's the same thing. You hope D-Hop. I mean, he's just been non-existent, since that Atlanta game, and Levis hasn't been great. McLaurin had 4 for 50 last week in a game where everybody asked where he was. So he still gave you 9, and Higgins it's not Burrow out there. And Higgins, we've seen it time and time before, just come in and leave the game. And although Jacksonville's a nice matchup, I just don't trust it. I mean, I got to go McLaurin. I mean, we just talked about Boyle looking decent against Miami. This is Sam Howell, who can air the ball out all day long. So if we're backing up Boyle a little bit against this defense, and we know Miami's going to score 30 points, Howell's throwing for 300+ yards.
I love me some Sam Howell.
It's scary, Terry, man. It's got to be McLaurin here.
Yeah, and keeping on the quarterback train, MA football guys giving us one. He's 6-6, on track to beat the 8-4 guy. So like this could be make or break. So all the pressure on you guys. You guys are gonna answer this, not me. I'm calling them. I'm calling outsies. No, I'm just kidding. But like, obviously, lot riding on the season right here. Who you taking, Brock or Tua?
I think.
All right, I'll jump in. Okay, go for it, JC.
No, you're good. You go ahead, Evan. You're good. You're good.
I was going to take one for the team because this is a tough question, man, and I could probably be. I mean, there's not a wrong answer, really. I can handle some arguments. I think, though, I'm leaning Brock Purdy because the Eagles are so good against the run. Tyler, you mentioned CMC maybe not being involved. I know Tua and the Dolphins are going to get ahead, but they also can run the ball on this Washington team, and they will probably. So I just think you're going to get more opportunity in the passing game overall for 4 quarters from what I see in the game script from Brock Purdy in this case. I think most of their touchdowns come through the air where, Tua, they could get down there and run it in once or twice with Mostert, right? So I just think you've got more passing opportunity for 4 quarters and more passing touchdown opportunity in Brock Purdy. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's Purdy for me.
Well, I'm gonna go devil's advocate, and then we'll let JC and Seth try to bring it to the other side. We just talked about that Washington, Miami game being bonanza, right? And like that's on the case. We know that freaking the Dolphins are gonna put up points, and as we saw, like I don't care about the run hype. As we saw, like they don't care. They'll put up 70 on somebody and not bat an eye about it. They're not worried about how big the blowout is and like being gentle with how bad that they beat somebody. So, I mean, like, obviously Washington has been easy to throw the football on all season. It's all Tua. In my mind, I think if Tua doesn't throw 3 touchdowns, he didn't play up to par. Like, I feel like that's the floor this week with that offense, just because they could have 3 touchdowns in the first half. Tua could throw for 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, like, to me, that upside, I like Brock, but I can tell you this, Jalen Carter's playing like a beast. Reddick's playing like a beast. Like, Philly is getting to the quarterback, and I can see Brock getting sacked 2 to 3 times this game pretty easy and having a lot of pressure. Even though the San Francisco line is decent, I think he's going to be under duress. I think he's going to have to throw a lot of short balls. And I just think Tua is going to have the freedom to air it out. So I'm going to go the points game. I'm going to go the highest over-under game, and I'm going to say Tua gets 3 by halftime.
We got A-Chain back, right? Or A-Chan back this week too, right?
So Mostert had 4 touchdowns in that game, right?
But remember seeing this too. Like when A-Chan was healthy and Mostert was healthy, you also saw them catching the ball, right? So I think you're going to see that airing it out from Tua. I mean, you also have two. I mean, we just saw Waddle come back to life, right? Against the Jets, who have been the best against like wide receivers. So, Waddle coming back to life. You already have Tyreek, who is probably the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. That's healthy, right? So that alone, like having two top elite receivers, Achane coming back, maybe potentially being another guy who can catch the ball for you. You don't have to worry about your tight end because they're just gonna be blocking for you with what you got there. So, I mean, I think the answer here is Tua. I mean, Washington it actually is the worst against quarterbacks. I mean, it's like very, very close between the Eagles and Washington, but it is Washington. But I think this could be very close. But I'm gonna just sway with Tua just because I feel like he has more potential with his weapons.
What if Washington doesn't?
I'm not saying that Brock doesn't have weapons because he definitely does.
I know we think Washington's going to score, but what if Washington doesn't put up points against Miami? I mean, the Eagles are going to score.
How are they not?
I'm just saying, you're looking at two offenses. And I mean, look at what Buffalo just did in Philadelphia against that defense. I mean, pressure or not, I have nothing wrong with starting Tua. There is more of a case in that game. I think that the Dolphins do get ahead and then they are able to run the football. I know they will put up 70, but that was a one-time thing. Look at Denver's defense since then. I don't know if I'm going to bank on that for this argument. I get it. That's tough for me, though, to say because they put up 70 1 week. I mean, they ran the ball for 250 yards too that week, I believe. So I don't know.
Two of Achane's touchdowns in that game were receiving.
Right, and they were long, big plays. You don't see that every single week. You act like that's a weekly thing.
It doesn't have to be a weekly thing. Seth, go ahead. Okay. Seth's waiting. He's like holding his breath over there, ready to bust up.
Washington runs way too much cover 3, way too much man to match up with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. That's going to be the issue here. So I do think I am in the camp that I do think Tua has at least 2 touchdowns, maybe a third by the half. That it's really not going to matter. Listen, these are both top 5 matchups. Like to me, they're with what we have left on the slate, they're QB5 and QB4 this week for me. So I like them both. I think Brock Purdy has the nuts matchup. This is a great matchup for him. But I think there's a better chance that Brock Purdy in a late afternoon game, eyes on him in a very hostile environment in Philadelphia. Like he's still a young quarterback that maybe it's too big for him. I don't think it is because this guy's a fucking weapon and this guy is a boss, but there's less chance that Tua goes to Washington and puts up a stinker, even though it hasn't been great lately. So I just think with what Washington's going to be running out there on defense schematically and talent-wise, you can't bet against Tua this week. So it is Tua for me, but they're both great picks. And Evan, super valid argument as well, because I love Brock Purdy this week. I'm trying to start him everywhere.
I will say, too, it's a little of my gut with the NFL, right? Like, nobody had Seattle last night. It was Dallas all the way. Like, Miami does go to Washington. It's the NFL. It's on the road. We all think they're just going to light it up.
Yeah.
Like, there's that little chance that, like, Tua plays kind of poorly the way he has. But, I mean, Washington's so bad on defense that, like, I get it. That's probably not going to happen. But I'm just going to add that in, that there's a part of me, because we talk about gut and instinct, that I feel like maybe Miami is slow to start.
Yeah.
But also, Tua can have 4 touchdowns at the half. So, that's just a little bit of where I'm coming from, too, on top of those arguments, is we just see that so much in the NFL. I don't know how much weight that carries, right? Because nobody wants to see Tua throw 3 first-half touchdowns on their bench. So just adding that in. But, I mean, I'm right there with you guys, man. I mean, I'm not – I mean –
it's so close. Like,
honestly, is the Michigan Wolverines defense better than Washington? Because I straight up – I know you hear that all the time, but I honestly think it is. I really think it is.
I was team total. I was looking to bet maybe I was team total under. I'm like, maybe it's like 12, 13. Dude, the line opened at I was team total under 6.5.
Yeah.
6.5. I said, no way. I'm not touching that, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Kurt Ferentz, baby. Gotta love him.
All right. We keep it moving. Okay, guys, need help on running back. Montgomery, Javonte, Achane, Zach Moss, and Breece Hall. Who do I start? RB1, RB2. First of all, what a freaking lineup to choose from. This guy, I mean, and when JT, which we talked about this earlier this week, my poor widow farm, like what the heck? He gets the big deal, the big 3-year deal, and then he goes out with a thumb. So for all the Zach Moss truthers, they're like, praise be, to everybody that's like JT, they're like, oh, you did it to it again, and over a thumb. You're a running back. Tape that junk up, bro. Like, but okay, so I won't get on that. I won't get on that too much. But Montgomery, Javonte, A-Chain, Zach Moss, pick 2. Who's your RB1? Who's your RB2?
I'll let one of you guys answer first on this one. Seth,
Zach
what do you got,
Moss.
man?
I think I got Zach Moss up there. Just opportunity. We already see it. So Zach Moss is my force player this week at running
Even
back.
against the Titans? I know he had a good first game against the Titans.
I got some stats for you here. Let me just pull them up real quick because I got it in my article. So let's just say this. So out of this, so here's some Zach Moss stats for you. Out of the 6 games where he had 50% or more shares out of the workload, he has finished 4 of those 6 games as RB10 or better. And against the Titans, he put up 33.5 fantasy points, finishing as RB2 that week.
Oh, JT, why'd you have to go? I'm with you. Moss is 100% an auto smash here. Like the Titans have gotten better against the run since then. Like they have been playing a little bit better up front. Simmons has kind of been blocking some holes, and the secondary is kind of just fallen apart since Kevin Byard has been traded. But Zach Moss is an auto start. How can you not? And who's your other one here, JT? Because I'm a Breece Hall fanboy, but I think I would go Montgomery over him. Just Montgomery scored in every game so far that he hasn't left with an injury. I don't know how you sit that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to sit. I like Breece Hall as well. I mean, H-Chan, maybe just if you want to be excited about what maybe that because of that game, maybe some crazy shit could happen.
That's risky as hell, dude.
It is 13. Risky, but reward could be crazy. But I agree with you. Montgomery probably scores another touchdown this week. It's safe. And if you need something cozy, I feel like Zach Moss and Montgomery is very cozy and rewarding.
Yeah. Montgomery and Moss for me. Breece would be a close third. But yeah. Evan, your thoughts?
Yeah, you guys just kind of had a conversation. You guys just had the conversation I had in my head pretty much. I mean, I'm right there with you. Listen, the Saints defense can be ran on. Detroit will run the ball against everybody. New Orleans offense is like, where is it? I mean, Dan Campbell's going to just keep running the ball down their throat. He's fine with that. And I want David Montgomery on the team that's going to do that. Every game he plays in, he exceeds expectations. And the same goes for Moss. I mean, Moss is RB22 on the whole season. I mean, even with JT coming back, and in the first 6 weeks, I think he was RB5 or 6. He plays 90% of the snaps. He gets all the running back work when JT's not there. There is no third guy. So he's going to get some passing work too. The resume speaks for itself. Like, I just don't trust Breece Hall here against Atlanta. I think the Broncos can throw. And A-Chain, if you want to take the risk upside, like, you said it's there, JC, and you said it, Seth, like, it's super risky. Like, you look like a genius if you play A-Chain over one of those guys. But if he doesn't outscore him, I'm going to feel terrible that I sat the cozy couple of Montgomery and Moss. I mean,
the cozy.
And the Titans have, you feel like the Titans have been great. But so 3 out of the last 5 games, the Titans actually have allowed a top 10 running back. So I like those odds.
Yeah, Breece Hall, I'm not on Breece this week. We talked about him last week, right? Tough. I mean, he's going to get the targets, but like, he's probably not going to rush for 50 yards. I mean, tough. It's like, you have to go with Montgomery and Moss.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's a good call. Anthony, what's up, guys? Better late than never, man. Thank you for coming in. Better late than never. We love when you're here, Anthony. Always dropping some killer questions, and he levels it up with Purdy or Lawrence this week.
Oof, Trevor Lawrence. You're on mute.
You're on mute, Seth. JC, what are you smoking, dude? Pass it up here, because that's an absurd take.
I'm taking Trev.
What are we doing here, bro? You're really. We just went on
I'll be the outlier here. I'm taking Trev this week.
So you must have Purdy further down. Like Seth said, 4 and 5 for Purdy and Tua this week. You went with Tua in the Purdy Tua conversation. So how much further down for you?
He's probably right behind Lawrence. I feel like Tua. I mean, they're right there. I just feel like the matchup is great this week. I mean, I just feel like Lawrence has been on. He's been playing really, really well. Like he's got all his receivers back. He's been doing well, man. I like him this week. He's one of my force players this week.
I thought you were going to chime back in there, Seth. I mean, okay. So
I got nothing else to say. I got nothing else to say, man.
So obviously, I said
the Bengals. What are they going to really do on offense? I mean, you feel like Trevor's going to be out there a lot, and Trevor's going to
right. But last week, I love Lawrence the last few weeks, and I think that Lawrence to me this season has become a matchup oriented guy. In good matchups, he does play well, but he's still. I mean, he had 300 plus yards, but only threw for 1 touchdown. He did run one in, which made his day. He's not going to do that every week. I mean, I said Purdy over Tua, so there's no way I can pick Lawrence here, sure. But just to compare these two guys, like I don't know if Trevor's going to have another big
week. So QB1 2 weeks ago, QB6 last week. The Bengals have allowed
those were. I don't think the matchup's the same here as those.
The Bengals have allowed a top 10 quarterback at 4 to 5 weeks in the last 5 weeks.
They have been getting diced up. They have been getting diced up.
I feel like the opportunity is here for Trevor to. I'm not. We're talking right now. It's just like tomatoes. Like these are players that are like so close together where it could be like within like a point. Like there's the opportunities here are just great for all. I mean, what's Brock Purdy? What are we playing on Brock Purdy? Just opportunity because it's a great matchup.
Well, and it's not like Purdy's been slaw though.
No, but it's not like he's been like this.
And they can't run the ball. They can't run the ball against the Eagles. I mean, you don't think they're going to run the ball well. I mean, the Jaguars, again, Lawrence is not throwing all the touchdowns. Some games he is, but they've also got ETN there. And you can see what Warren and Najee did last week.
Lawrence
I just don't know.
Propped up by the rushing touchdowns too the last 2 weeks. Like we can't forget about that.
T-Lock could throw for 350 and just 1 passing touchdown. And so I don't know if that's enough to surpass Purdy. But
you got Ingram going against one of the worst defense. You got Ingram here.
Yeah, they're gonna get Ingram his first touchdown.
Ingram first touchdown would be a great play here. I mean,
I agree.
I'll find the line for that.
Get a couple touchdowns, dude. Calvin Ridley has just been absolutely explosive. Like he's shown out. I mean, I don't know. This matchup is actually very good for Trevor, and he has shown the last 2 weeks. Quarterback 1 and then quarterback 6, and he gets a good matchup here. He's got all his receivers healthy again. I don't know. I feel like there's something about Trevor this week where I'm excited about Trev. I could be wrong, and I'm okay with being wrong.
He's going to throw for 300, so he's got a chance to throw 3 touchdowns too. I just feel like he hasn't been getting the touchdowns without the rushing. So if that happens again, it's a little disappointing to throw for 300 plus and only have 1 touchdown on the day. So he's right on the cusp of that. I just think Purdy has to throw 3 touchdowns in this game. So I hear you, JC. I totally understand where you're coming from. And we're not talking about, Flacco or Boyle. We're talking about Lawrence.
We're talking about T-Law and Purdy and Tua.
Boyle over all of them.
Okay, that's obviously
Boyle versus everybody, right?
Yeah. All right, Bryce Ridley coming in, fellas. Lost Hawkinson and Schultz. I'm sorry. First of all, I'm sorry. That's tough. So we rocking Pitts, Otten, or Logan Thomas PPR this week.
LT, do it up, man. Like you're chasing the points. I think in that game, at least for me, I like Kyle Pitts as a talent, but in a game against the New York Jets, where we're expecting some slow pace from the Jets and the Falcons, they run a shit ton of plays surprisingly this season, but they're not the most effective plays. So I think you got to chase the points and the high point total there in general with Logan Thomas and the Commanders, baby. Commander up.
Yeah, I don't think
I like Logan Thomas a lot.
Yeah, I don't think you start Kyle Pitts in any offense where Arthur Smith is the head coach. So I agree with you on the Logan Thomas call.
Yeah,
Easy.
there's matchups for Pitts, and I mean, you'd love to be able to play Pitts. I mean, for the talent, but I can't do it. I'm right there with you. It's Thomas for me. It's he easily has more volume on his plate in this matchup. It's PPR, so if you're giving me that, they all probably have the same. And Thomas probably has a little more touchdown upside, but you have to get a touchdown from Pitts or Otten if you play one of them. And I don't know how much you can believe in that. Carolina Tampa is probably an ugly NFC South game.
Yeah,
a lot of ground there for Tampa Bay. And then, the Jets are a pretty good defense too. And I just think that Atlanta is going to run the ball down the Jets' throat, all day long, 30 plus times. So it's Logan Thomas.
I will say, go ahead.
Do you know that the target share for Jonnu Smith and Kyle Pitts in the last 2 weeks is 3 targets to both of those tight ends in the last 2 weeks?
What a shame for Kyle Pitts, man.
It's so bad.
What? It's really that low?
So bad. Yeah, it's bad.
Well, Bijan's had 19 and 20 carries the last 2 weeks?
Yeah. Says like it's so low, I gotta check the stats myself.
So bad. Dude, I had them as my force players last week, and I was embarrassed. I was like, whoa, dude, Jonnu got no targets, and Pitts got 2, and it was just and the week before that, Pitts got 1, and Jonnu, I think, still got 0. It's just what happened? What's going on in this offense?
Even Algier had 8 or 9 carries. I mean, they had 30 carries between the two of them. I think you see the same mix of that against the Jets.
So, quick little plug as we start to kick through the rest of these questions. We got a couple more in there, and we're running up on our time. So, if you play Dynasty, is Pitts somebody you're going to get? I mean, you could have a new quarterback. You could have a new coach next week. Is he a buy low for you?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you're getting them. You might get them for a late second.
It's never going to be lower. It's never going to be lower, probably. There will be hype again. There will be people. There will be
He's
people
still young, right?
I mean, he's what, 22, 23 still?
22, 6'6", 250 or whatever he is. I mean, yeah.
Unless we were all fooled that 2020 year at Florida, because I watched him a lot that year because it was fucking COVID and I had nothing else to watch. And he was an electric beast, bro.
He was electric with the Falcons in his first year. He was 1,000-yard tight end, I mean, where the fuck did that go? Where did that go?
No touchdowns, but he had he had 70-something catches or whatever. I mean,
1,000 yards.
It's coming, guys. If you can get him in your dynasty league, buy him low. I'm just saying, it's never going to be
I want Pitts
low.
everywhere. I'm on board with you. I will buy Pitts everywhere I can get him. Unfortunately, I already have a lot.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. I got him in all the dynasty leagues that I have him, so I can.
I already jumped on the Pitts. Bro. Yeah, I already jumped on the Pitts train, and I'm being drugged through the mud with Seth holding on tight too. So I'm already
go down. We go down together.
Dude, that's incredible. That's awesome. All right, man. We got a few more in the chat. Anthony, worried about Deontay's lack of effort and / punishment. So is Pickens a start over Deontay, or do I start both over Christian Watson? Real quick, for one person, who's up?
JC, what do you have? Do you have anything for this one? Because I'm not. I don't think Deontay's going to get punished. I don't know if he technically saw that.
Hold on, you gotta think about who the coach is.
I know, dude.
Who the coach is? Tomlin's probably "Are you fucking kidding?" He probably saw that. He had to go in there and talk to the media about that shit. You kidding me? Tomlin, the last person you want to piss off. I mean, come on. I mean, that was that was not only was it lazy, a fumble happened, and you let the guy kind of run right by you. That is
I know.
Not cool.
All I'll say too, just to quickly sum this up, Christian Watson, he's going to be up against Jalen Watson of the Chiefs. That's a really good matchup. Jalen Watson is kind of the one dog shit corner on this team. He's really the weak spot. So I'm expecting a decent game from Christian Watson. So I'm going Watson Johnson here. I tried to go Pickens last week's my sure thing sleeper of the week, and it bit me. So I can't do it this week.
I feel that too, but I don't know if I can go Deontay, man. I took Deontay 2 weeks ago, and he also made me look like a fool.
Yeah.
So
You're a vibes guy. You're a big vibes guy, JC. I like it. I like it. Like vibes are a big part of this, man, and it's
for
not good
sure,
vibes.
man. It is crazy, but I'm telling you, man. If I'm Tomlin, man, I would be very upset with my, like younger, he's
That's
not even
been his
younger.
whole
He's
fucking
old.
career,
He's
though.
older. He's your veteran, wide receiver in your team. Like that is very unprofessional. Not okay.
That's kind of Deontay's MO, though, man. Like if
It's not good. That's like a very bad version of like
no.
Brown.
I mean, dude, we're talking the
AJ
same
Brown.
team that
You're a diva. That's not great.
we're talking about the same team that had AJ Brown or AB and Le'Veon Bell, bro. Like we're used to it out here in the Berg, and it sucks ass, but
I
so
think
yeah.
to me, it's just we're gonna go Pickens. Christian Watson's the start. I think like he's just came alive last week, and I'm just gonna go Pickens.
All right, Pickens, Watson, Evan. Two words. Who are you going here?
So, I know you loved Pickens last week, Seth, and it was enough for me to take him over 43.5. I sweated it out. He did hit it, and I played that just because of what you said on Friday night last week, just so you know.
Okay, I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
I was like, man, yeah. So, but he's been such a letdown. I mean, on that kind of yard total. But I just think that in this matchup, I mean, it's Watson for me out of the three with what you got going on in Pittsburgh. It's just hard to choose. Watson looked good. Like you said about the matchup, I think Love, it's not like the Chiefs of old where they're going to score 1 million points, but still, Watson can catch and go and break one. But I think I got to go Pickens because the Steelers are going to run the ball a ton, like I mentioned. And I feel like if I'm taking a shot after running the ball play action, I think Pickens has a better chance of breaking one or getting a long one deep. That I'm going to take my chances on Pickens getting that play action touchdown, big play, as opposed to a matchup where like they'll feed Deontay because the blitz is heavy and they want to get it in his hands or he's that short route runner. Yeah. I don't think they need that. So not to mention what happened last week. I don't think there's any bearing on that. I don't think he's in the doghouse. Steelers are in the playoff trenches. They just want to win the football game. So if Deontay's there, he's out there. But I just think Pickens has a little more upside. So Watson, Pickens.
Yeah, love it. Love it. George says, do you guys think Spears has value?
Yes.
I just picked Spears up this week in my big money league, and I dropped Romeo Doubs for him, which I think also has a little bit of value. But you don't like that? You don't like that drop there?
I'm not saying it's like I'm saying they both have good value.
Yeah,
I really like Dobbs. Like
I do too.
It just made me a little tear up a little bit because I like Dobbs. That just hurt me a little bit.
I do too. The reason I went with the reason I went here with Spears is like there is a chance like if Derrick, I don't want to wish an injury on anyone, but if Derrick Henry goes down, one injury, he's done for the year. And we don't know. The Titans might want to see what they have in Spears, the guy with no ACLs, with the draft coming up here as well. And a lot of good running backs going to be in that day 2 and day 3 range. So I think Spears is kind of like if you have a bench spot, he's worth a flyer still, but you might just be holding on to shit at this point. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I don't think so. I think he's showed, I mean, during the year, he's put up enough points, like even like 6, 7, 8, points, even with, Derrick
Henry.
A little
standalone. Yeah. A little standalone.
I mean, it's still like flex worthy position if you need to start somebody, but it just hurts me when you say you had to drop Dobbs for him. But I'm a huge Jaden Reed truther, man. Yeah. I think that he is going to steal. He might be the guy who ends up being the 2 on that team, man. He's special, man.
For context, my best friend, his running back 2 this week is like someone terrible, and I just kind of wanted to block him almost too, just to give him a little fuck you. So that was part of it, If I can't have him, you can't have him. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, hey, we got a doozy in here from Corey, and actually, it's not Pollard. So pick 2: Kamara, Eckler, or CMC.
Kamara, Eckler, or CMC.
Yeah, pick 2. Which what a wonderful 2 to have to or 3 to have to
trade Eckler for a wide receiver. That is my my
Yeah,
advice.
there you go. If you can trade, do that. But I mean, you can't bench CMC. I mean, even though we talked about the value, like you can't bench CMC, especially with the fact that early backtrack, it's Kamara first. The Saints have no other options. They already feed him anyway. They're probably
Kamara's going to have like 20 targets.
They're going to be
game.
behind probably as well. It doesn't matter how you dice that game. Kamara is like the guy right now in that offense, and he has been anyway. So he's one for me this week there. And Eckler has been dog shit, you know, to quote Seth here on what he likes to say. He has been dog shit coming from a Charger fan the last few weeks. He looks not explosive. I don't know if he's hurt or not. It doesn't matter. He doesn't look well. And even though the Chargers have no weapons, like this is a road game in New England. Like, I don't know. I just don't trust Eckler. And like, how can you, if Eckler had been Eckler the last 2 weeks that we've come to know, I might think about benching CMC. But because Eckler's been dog shit, I have to play CMC because you almost have to anyway.
Yep.
I'm scared. I'm scared if I have Austin Eckler, honestly, man. Like I don't in any leagues, but like there are some real concerns here. And I don't know. Listen, like I don't know how deep the Spanos pockets are and if they really will get rid of Brandon, but I don't know if Staley lasts much longer, especially if they come out here this week against the Patriots and Bailey Zappi and get zapped off the field. Like it might be over for him. You would know more, Evan, being a SoCal guy.
I mean, I think it's going to take a lot, as you can tell, for Staley to be canned during the year. I think his time is up in the offseason, guaranteed. I mean, even then, I really wouldn't be surprised if Spanos kept him, but you just can't. But I don't think they fire him during the year. But they lose a game like that, he might. But yeah, Eckler's gone after this year. I mean, they got to cut a ton of payroll. That team is supposed to be a win now window. So I think Staley somehow makes it through the year no matter what happens, because I mean, there's been plenty of Monday mornings he should have been fired. I just don't see anything worse happening. Like he'll just chalk it up to they went to New England and lost to Bill Belichick. And to me, you know, it's a Bill Belichick beats the Chargers. It's more reason for them to bring Belichick in the offseason. I mean, that's, you know, he's the guy done in New England. They need Belichick, you know, he's the culture change that they need. And Eckler, yeah, I'm worried too. I mean, I feel bad. I just traded him to my son a couple weeks ago and won him.
You're a shit dad.
That's like when you play him in basketball still, you're like, I still own you, Junior.
Hey, but real quick, 2 weeks ago, so out of the last 5 weeks, Eckler has 3 games over 20 points. It's the week, you know, 5 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. It's the last 2 weeks that he's been terrible. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he's just been dog shit since he came back. He's just gotten worse where we thought he would get better. So we are talking about a guy who's got, you know, 100 plus catches the last 2 years, RB1 2 years in a row. Still, I think the Chargers are they're not using him the right way either. And they have no offensive line. When they do run the screen, they've got nobody out in front of them. Like this Chargers offense is more dog shit than Eckler's been by himself. So put Eckler as the passing back in a better offense. Yeah, you're not going to draft him 1 overall, but I think
Eckler to the Chiefs. Eckler to the Chiefs. I'm calling it right now.
100%, bro. And if I'm the Chargers, it's give me the combo for $5 million of Deontay Foreman and Antonio Gibson next year. They're rebuilding. That's $5 million. You have 1 hard-nosed running back, 1 pass-catching back. They don't have the money for anybody else. I like it.
Real quick in the chat, we got Wendy in the chat. I haven't seen her since to give her a thank you on a live show, but Wendy sent me all these old Jeff Gordon diecasts a couple months ago. I got them all on the shelf back here. This is old Nationwide cards. So thank you, Wendy. Like, just want to give you a shout out for that. I still owe you some IBT merch. Gotta get around to that, but thank you, Wendy. That's awesome. I just wanted to give you a shout out for that. That's dope. And
Wendy is the best.
Yo, what's up? We got Tingley in the chat now. Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, so Tingley is gonna close us out for the night. Last question. One, because this group is killer, and shout out to Seth for the call last week of Pacheco over Puka. You know, this week's tough. You like Moss, one flex spot, full PPR, Moss, Pacheco, A-Chain, Puka.
Tingley's teams are fucking amazing. This guy all season long, he's been in your chat, Tyler. He's been over in the IBT chat. This dude has some squads. With this being said, I do love me some Pacheco, you know it, but it's Zach Moss here, no brainer.
Yes.
I'm riding the Moss train into the ground. JC, your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I agree 100%, man. We already talked about the stats with Moss, dude. Like and the matchup. So I mean, here it's gonna be Moss, dude. He's gonna put up a. I mean, I've got him as my force players, so that means he's gonna be at least a top 14 player, and I think it'll be higher than that. Top 10, top 8. I mean,
yep, yeah. I don't know how you get away from him, man. I really don't, especially. I just love Zach Moss when there's no JT. I mean, it's as automatic as it gets. Evan, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Moss. We've answered that part for why. And I think with Pacheco, it was nice to see him in the passing game last week, because when we talked about him last week, my concern was the rushing yards only, no touchdowns, and no pass catching. He only ran for 55 yards, but I think he had 5 catches and he found the end zone twice. You're a great play when you do that. And that's not a knock on Pacheco or the call. That's just kind of the fear. And I think he's involved again too. But again, 90+% of the running back snaps, if not 100%, a good matchup. Just a guy that's done nothing but be an RB1, top half RB1 every week he's played. I mean, look at what Kyron did week 1 back. Like, I think we just have to go with that number 1 option and take our chances.
In other words, to sum it all up, to sum up tonight's show, if I was going to make a thumbnail right now and post it for the intro to this video, it's going to say, it is Zach Moss season again. You know, just the hype is unreal. The excitement's unreal. And he's proven something that, the Bills just didn't know how to use him, I guess.
100%.
So, again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Pop over to fantasyfootballadvice.com. Join our community.
Please.
It's a great place. We're all hanging out. We're all answering your questions. We even ask questions ourselves, but it is fantasy football all the time. Not all that extra stuff, not the rolling ads in your feed. Nothing but fantasy football and hanging out with people like us.
No porn bots either. We got no porn bots over there. That's probably the best thing about it.
No porn bots. That's right. We have filters. No porn bots.
No young world traveling ladies looking for love over there.
Just go to fantasyfootballadvice.com and click the sign up button. Sign up. It is free to sign up, and again, an awesome time hanging out. And the place would not be, Fantasy Football Advice Network would not be awesome without people like you that are in the chat and people like these 3 guys on this show tonight. Seth, thanks for rocking it. IBT Media, JC Money, thanks for coming and hanging out and rocking it. Sports Affiliation, Evan, the Props King, SoCal Nerd with the Sports Affiliation too. Yeah. Thanks for coming and hanging out. This crew's awesome. You guys are electric. We will see you next week from the forum. Peace easy and have a good night.